Amaka had given up on love. At 40 years old, she was a successful teacher, but her personal life was a different story. All of her friends were married, including her younger sisters. Everyone laughed at Amaka, wondering why no man would marry her. Despite her tall, beautiful stature, Amaka felt like a laughingstock. Every week, she would attend either a friend's or family member's wedding, watching as they exchanged vows and began their new lives together. Amaka would cry profusely, feeling like she was the only one left behind. One day Amaka met Steve. He was charming, handsome, and every woman's dream. Steve showered Amaka with gifts and attention, treating her like a queen. Amaka's friends and family were overjoyed, urging her to marry Steve. Despite her initial reservations, Amaka gave in to peer pressure. She convinced herself that she was too old to be picky, and that Steve was the best she could get. So they got married. At first Steve seemed perfect. He continued to spoil Amaka, taking her on romantic getaways and buying her expensive jewelry. But as time went on, Amaka began to notice a change in Steve's behavior. He became increasingly critical, finding fault in everything she did. He would argue with her over minor things, making her feel belittled and unappreciated. Steve also started giving Amaka odd jobs to do around the house, treating her like a servant rather than a partner. Amaka was devastated. She had thought she had found her happily ever after, but instead she felt trapped in a loveless marriage. She cried herself to sleep every night, wondering how she had made such a mistake. When Amaka complained to her parents, they told her to endure. "You're 40 years old, Amaka," they said. "Who will marry you at your age? You should be grateful to have a husband." Amaka felt like she was stuck between a rock and a hard place. She didn't want to be alone, but she also didn't want to be treated like a doormat. So she stayed in the marriage, enduring Steve's abuse for years. But as the years went by, Amaka began to realize that she deserved better. She started to see that Steve's behavior was not normal, and that she didn't have to settle for a loveless marriage. With newfound courage, Amaka started to make plans to leave Steve. It wouldn't be easy, but she knew it was necessary. She deserved to be happy, and she was determined to find her own happily ever after. Amaka started by secretly saving money and looking for a new place to live. She knew it wouldn't be easy to leave Steve, but she was determined to take control of her life. As she made her plans, Amaka couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and liberation. She was finally taking steps to free herself from the toxic marriage that had held her back for so long. But just as Amaka was about to make her move, Steve discovered her plans. He was furious and he confronted Amaka in a fit of rage. "How could you do this to me?" Steve shouted, his face red with anger. "I've given you everything, and this is how you repay me?" Amaka stood her ground, refusing to back down. "I deserve better than to be treated like a servant," she said, her voice firm.